What up? What up? What up? Game of Thrones slash House of the Dragon fans. Should say House of Dragons fans first, considering this is House of the Dragon YouTube page and video. But let's get into the House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 3 predictions. Again, we do not know the title yet until the premiere, but we will find that out obviously later tonight. I got my wine. I'm going to stay classy today, guys. I got some wine for this video. As you can see, we got some cool images that I'm going to illuminate to later on in this video. All right, first prediction, or actually before the first prediction, how did I do? Pretty bad. I got a 2 out of 4, guys, so I do owe you a big fat glass of wine during this one. Um, so Damon and the Bracken Blackwood rivalry, Damon taking over Riverlands. I was wrong, and sorry that my face is covering up the episode title, guys. It's Rhaenyra the Cruel was season 2, episode 2. Its title. That's kind of a cool title. Real quick on that, they're referring to Maegor the Cruel, who was the really evil king, who was actually Aegon and Visenya's son, and he ruled for 6 years, from 42 AC to 48 AC. And then Jaehaerys came after him, and Jaehaerys took the throne from him. He was a terrible person, terrible king. Some YouTubers argue that he was good and saved the Targaryen dynasty. I'm not going to get into that because this is under 15 minutes, guys. Anyways, second prediction: Kristen Cole becomes Han. Got that one right. My risky prediction: Rhaenyra and Alicent meet. That was way off, and I knew it was probably going to be off. But got to take some bold predictions here, guys. And Eric Cargill and Ari Cargill, yeah, that happened. That was again a pretty obvious one. So, but yeah, I got 2 out of 4. So definitely this big chunk of wine here. All right, guys. The first prediction is not. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because it's the exact same slide from last week. I think this has got to happen. They can't take it out, and it seems pretty apparent from the trailer that Damon will be leaving with Caraxes when we saw that in episode 2 to do his own thing, as Rhaenyra said. But he'll be taking over Harrenhal for sure in this episode. There's almost no doubt in my mind. I know I keep on saying this, but I thought it'd be earlier on. I was wrong. But yeah, the Brackens and Blackwoods, we will probably see them fight, and I do think we will see the Blacks take over the entirety of the Riverlands in this episode, and the Greens will be gone from the Riverlands. All right, prediction 2. So this is going to be a little lengthier of a prediction, as you can read that quote. Again, I will never read quotes out to you. Ooh, sorry for didn't put a little quotation mark before the thus, guys. It was a little rush making this video, so I do apologize. But what are those sigils you see to the left? The first one is House Rosby. The second one is House Stokeworth. And the third one is House Darkland of Duskendale. So basically, Kristen and Aemond are going to, I think Aegon will stay in King's Landing because he's the king and he has to. And side note, I do think we probably will see Sunfire in this episode. That I could be wrong on that, but that's not part of my predictions. It's just a little side one. But House Rosby is that first sigil. Then you have House Stokeworth is the second one, and House Darkland of Duskendale is that third one on the bottom. So these 3 houses are basically going to get conquered by Aemon and Kristen, I think, in this episode. You can see the map and where they are compared to Dragonstone and King's Landing. They're just north of King's Landing. And as you guys, I didn't point out Rook's Rest, but Rook's Rest will be pretty important, so keep that one out. But in this episode, I think we'll see Kristen take over Stokeworth and Rosby alongside Aemon and Vhagar, and then they'll move to Duskendale, and we do see the Duskendale sigil, the Darklands sigil, I should say. It's the Darklands, guys. Duskendale is where they live. I sometimes interchange those, so that's my bad. So he'll march up there, and they'll conquer all 3 of these houses in the Crown Lands. Basically, Aemond and Kristen's plan is to essentially just take over the Crown Lands and then move essentially into the Eastern Riverlands, and that like just bit by bit. That's basically their strategy. I think they'll keep that pretty similar in the show. And I do think we'll see these 3 houses go down, and the Greens will conquer much more of the Crown Lands, even though they're losing much of the Riverlands due to Daemon. So I think that'll be an interesting duality the directors and producers could show: the domination of the Blacks in the Riverlands, and the domination of the Greens in the Crown Lands during this episode. But again, I think Aegon and Sunfire will probably stay in King's Landing for this episode, but I do think we'll get a shot of Sunfire. And remember, guys, Sunfire is a sick-looking dragon. We've actually seen Sunfire before in episode 7, season 1, briefly. It'd be hard to catch, but you did see Sunfire. And yeah, that's pretty much this prediction. Aemon and Kristen on the march, taking over Rosby, Stokeworth, and Duskendale. And real quick, guys, fun fact for you, bonus fact. Uh, Duskendale, actually, they got totally wiped out, House Darkland, by Ares, the Mad King Ares II, before, pretty much right before Robert's Rebellion, because the Darklands didn't want to pay a tax, and Ares was like, "Hell no," and I'll negotiate with you. So Ares stupidly goes to, even though Tywin's like, "Don't do that, Ares." He negotiates with them. They take him prisoner, and basically Barristan Selmy has to save him. And then uh, when he saves him, King Ares literally uh, basically like beheads everyone in the house, and like their whole line is wiped out right before Robert's Rebellion. So House Duskendale is that's when they get wiped out, but they are a very old house in Westeros. But anyways, let's move on to the third prediction, guys. All right, so I don't really have a quote for this one because the quote I would use for this is going to be in a later video, prediction video. Um, so Hugh the Hammer and Ulf the White leave King's Landing due to Aegon's poor rule. You guys probably didn't even. It took me. I had to watch some videos to even spot Ulf the White, but Ulf the White is on the right, and we all know that Hugh the Hammer is on the left. Uh, so guys, I'm just. I mean, it's a spoiler video, guys. You know this is a spoiler video. Um, Basically, those two are for sure Targaryen bastards because they're going to claim dragons later on Dragonstone. Hugh the Hammer is going to claim Vermithor, and Ulf the White is going to claim Silverwing. So you will see that probably in episode 5. That's why I don't really want to get too into that right now, and that's why I don't have a quote. But basically, I think we're going to see shots of these guys so fed up with Aegon's poor rule in King's Landing. And remember, Hugh's like, we need money, and Aegon's probably not going to give him money. And I have a feeling Hugh's daughter might die because I think she's sick in the show, maybe even his wife. Uh, and so he'll leave because of that, maybe because of his dying daughter and potentially his dead wife. I think that could very easily happen in this episode on top of this prediction. Um, and Ulf the White is actually the guy we see eating an apple, guys, in the end of episode 2 when Aegon hangs all those rat catchers, and he like looks disturbed. So I think both these guys will leave King's Landing during this episode and head towards um, Dragonstone to essentially just get away from Aegon and maybe give their support to Rhaenyra in some way. But again, you're going to find out that these guys are definitely Targaryen bastards. The Targaryen, I would have to imagine, I guess they could be Jaehaerys's bastard or Baelor's bastard or Aemon Targaryen. Aemon's the dad of Rhaenys and yeah, just the dad of Rhaenys. Sorry guys, I kind of drew a blank there, but my guess is they're one of those bastards. And Balon is the dad of Daemon and Viserys. So realistically, these would have to be when they're bastards. I think that's besides the prediction, but that's just a little side note for you all. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. They're gonna leave King's Landing and they're gonna go to Dragonstone to support Rhaenyra, and that'll be very important later on. Let's move to the last prediction. Got to take a big sip here, guys. I like this one. This one I think is gonna come true, and I think it's kind of a bold prediction, but I think it's gonna happen in this episode. I mean, obviously, I think it's gonna happen in this episode. This is my prediction video, Henry. Anyways, so I would definitely read those quotes. Those quotes are pretty important. But Rhaena and Joffrey betrothed and head to the Val. So basically, I do think there is some symbolism in that top left picture of Rhaena like holding Joffrey like that, because I think now that Luke is dead, Joffrey and Rhaena are going to be betrothed, but they're going to head to the Val and basically protect, because remember Jace swore to the Maiden of the Vale, Jane Eyre, we need a dragon rider and we'll take your side. And so he agrees. So they're going to send Tyraxes, who, yeah, I believe it's like a pinkish dragon, I believe. Um, and that second quote, guys, read the 3 dragon eggs part. So what does that illuminate to you? Daenerys. So I do think we're going to see the 3, like Drogon, Viserion, and like Rhaegal. Um, we're going to see those eggs. And I don't know like what the show is going to tell us, but a lot of fans or nerds like me believe that those eggs are Dreamfire's eggs. So Drogon and Viserion and Rhaegal's mom is Dreamfire, who we actually do see in season 1, episode 6, when Aemon goes down to the dragon pit. That dragon is Dreamfire, and it's kind of cool because she looks a lot like Drogon, so it makes sense. And Dreamfire is the mount of Helena. I don't even know if we're ever really going to see Helena ride Dreamfire, but she does that. They are, dragon bonded, and so that will be fun to see. I think we're going to see the 3 dragon eggs get shipped to the Val. And guys, this would make sense too with even Game of Thrones, because the Val is what? The closest to Pentos. The Val is the closest kingdom to Pentos and Essos, essentially, like that area of Essos, northern central Essos. So it would make sense in that regard. But again, my prediction here is Rhaena will bring her hatchling, Joffrey will bring Tyraxes up to protect the Val. I don't know if we'll see Tyraxes. I think Rhaenyra will just kind of tell them, like, you're going up, and I think they're gonna bring those 3 dragon eggs. And remember, guys, Rhaena does have a hatchling right now, so I think they're gonna keep that similar in the show, and they're gonna finally show that to us in this episode. But let me take one more big sip here. And that's it, guys. That is the video for today. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll have episode 4's video out again about anywhere from 4 to an hour before the next week's. And by the way, next week's episode's gonna be sick. The episode title is called "The Dance of the Dragons." We already know that one, but I won't spoil anything until next week, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope my predictions are right.